You have to play a lot better through wreck ship, or else you will end up needing to take a ship trip.
Definitely. And there's a couple other tricks that make new route just so much more challenging, like the ice clip. But we'll get to that if they decide to take that route. Anyways, it looks like our runners are getting started. Every run of Super Metroid begins in Ceres Station, or as I've heard it referred to as Sirius Station. There's really nothing to say about. Well, actually, you know what? I always say there's nothing to say about this, and then usually another commentator says, "Well, actually, Chris, let me tell you all about Sirius Station." So I think, anyways.
So there's two techniques that we're using in Series Station. One is arm pumping, and the other is stop on a dime. So they're both involving the right and left trigger buttons, which are just R and L in Super Nintendo land, I guess. And those techniques are very minor time saves on the scale of frames, but they add up through the rooms. You'll see right before the doors, everyone is stopping. That's a stop on the dime technique. And you'll see them aiming up and down rapidly. That's the arm pumping technique. So
yeah, arm pumping, I'm pretty sure saves in a 100% run. I think it's between 8 and 10 seconds.
And so, that's if you do it optimally.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty marginal time save, but it's free, so I mean, you might as well, right?
Well, until you get carpal tunnel, then it's not free.
Very true. It's a risk that we all take when we take up speedrunning. So our runners will now touch down on planet Zebes. I don't actually know how it's pronounced.
I've always pronounced it Zebes, but it could be Zebes, it could be Zebes, I don't know. Like, pronounce it how you want. It's not canon.
Zebes. Zebs. Let's just call it the planet. Anyways, our runners are going to touch down on the planet. They're going to make their way towards the morphing ball, and they are going to morph their way through some tunnels, collect missiles, and do some stuff. This part of the run, it's pretty standard. You'll see most of our runners, well, all of our runners, excuse me, just heading down the parlor, heading down the climb, and we'll see why that's called the climb later on. Heading towards the pit room. If you fall in those pits, it is not actually a significant time loss, but it is incredibly frustrating.
If you run off the end of the platform and you don't jump in time, it's about a second time loss. But if you miss the platform with your jump, it's about 30 frames.
So that explains why I lose about 4 seconds every time I'm in that room. Fell in every pit at the very end.
Yeah, running off the end of the platform is the worst.
Anyways, it looks like our runners have picked up the morphing balls. They can now morph through tiny little passages. They're going to make their way towards the missiles. Oh, and I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, missiles, of course, a staple of a Metroid game.
Allows you to open red doors and deal more damage to bosses sometimes. I was going to say, this is not a three-way race. This is a two-way race between Mchan338 and Serberoth, for those of you tuning in. And this was going to be a race between JC and RupeeJar, but unfortunately, RupeeJar was not able to make it to his race, so he is racing a giant image of Kraid. So Mchan is heading towards the climb, which is it's a lot of runners have a lot of things to say about this room. Typically, you want to see the runner climb up, wall jump across the right side of the room. It's pretty tough to do. Mchan making it look easy, but yeah, if you end up falling down, it costs you a fair bit of time. I hear there's another way to get up this room, though, Mike.
There's a method called the Behemoth Climb where you simply ledge grab up the middle. And ledge grabbing is also involving the R and L buttons. When you are spin jumping and then you smash L or R, it actually increases the size of your hitbox and causes you to land earlier than you normally would, saving you a few frames every time it happens.
I believe that's called a ledge grab. I don't know if you said that already, but yeah.
I believe I said ledge grab, but I might have said something different.
I'll take your word for it. So Mchan is going to pick up the bombs. He's going to now fight the bomb to Rizzo. Not able to get BT skip. Very unfortunate.
Physically impossible on NTSC.
Yes, and we don't have any of our runners running on PAL, unfortunately. Well, I should say fortunately, because that would be a miserable experience for everybody.
Well, I mean, who knows? Nobody even knows the PAL Fantune patterns anyway, so. Mchan opting to skip Alcatraz and just go the safe route.
You know, that's not a bad idea. Alcatraz, probably one of the most challenging tricks, I would say, in the game. I've seen some runners who can pull very respectable times not going for Alcatraz just because it can, if you screw it up, it doesn't really cost you that much time. But if you keep screwing it up, say if you screw it up 10 times in a run, you might as well just go for the intended bomb escape. Alcatraz, one of the first tricks that runners tend to learn. It saves you a fair bit of time and it looks pretty cool too. The second trick that runners tend to learn, actually I'd say runners learn this first because it makes the speedrun of this game possible. The mock ball, which we'll see Mchan going for next. So yeah, Mchan, he actually needs to grab a few more missiles. Not able to get the drops from the space pirates earlier on, so he's got to go back, farm those crabs. I don't remember what they're called. And he's gonna do the mock ball. Do you want to talk about the mock ball for a sec, Mike?
So it's sort of like, how do I explain this? If you've played a fighting game such as Street Fighter, it's very much like that. It's like a button combination that allows you to move in running speed while in ball form. So ball form only usually has one speed, which is slow as hell, and you don't want to be going that speed when you're speed running. You want to be going fast as you possibly can. So you kind of Hadouken the ground, and after Hadoukening the ground, you will be going running speed.
That's a wonderful explanation. I've never heard it described as Hadoukening the ground, but that makes perfect sense.
That's how I think of it, honestly.
I'm never going to be able to unsee that now. Anyways, Mchan, I don't know if he was going for the mock ball out of the reserve room there. That mock ball is pretty tough to get, so there's no shame in not going for it.
It is a significant time save, though.
Yeah, I think it's about 8 seconds if you do it optimally.
Yeah, and it saves you energy as well.
Very true, because you don't have to run. Oh, and we see Serberoth going for it, but not able to morph on the ground in time, unfortunately. So he's going to have to take the slow way as well. Runners, I didn't see. Were they going for the golden mock ball there?
I believe so, yes.
The golden mock ball, named after an old school speedrunner of this game who would consistently mess up that mock ball.
Both runners deciding to go for Charge Beam. A very good choice.
Yeah, very good choice to collect all the items in the 100% speedrun. I do believe that there actually exists some tasks out there where they get charged later on because I think it's actually faster, but that's just like not something that we are currently capable as humans of doing.
I'm trying to think how that would even work, but that scares me.
Yep, skipping charge beam is pretty terrifying. Oh, what is JC doing? He's heading up the red tower. That's very unorthodox. Typically, we'll see runners go down the red tower here, making their way towards Kraid, picking up the various suit, and heading up towards here after picking up high jump boots and a myriad of items. What do you think he's doing?
Maybe he's inventing a new route.
I did watch Elminster's race the other day, and he did choose to go up this way as well.
Or maybe he really hates missing Kraid missiles and he just wants to get them first time around.
Yeah, I can totally respect that. I would do the same thing.
Oh,
Actually,
but it
I
looks
wouldn't.
like he may be in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, getting Vileplume there actually going to cost him a significant amount of health.
That's the trouble with coming up here early, is that you do not have various suit and you take a lot of damage.
Also, only having one energy tank really sucks for him. Looks like Serberoth also needs to watch his energy at 59. He can't take it if he can only take a couple more hits, which should be the damage boosts heading into Kraid's lair.
Oh no, and he jumps back through the door. I've done that one before.
Yeah, door transitions will end up costing you a significant amount of time sometimes. Yeah, it looks like he's just grabbing power bombs. He's probably going to go for, yeah, like you were saying, he doesn't want to miss Kraid missiles. Oh, he's got to be really careful here. He's got to be really careful with his health. Oh, JC, don't do this to me. Whew. Anyways, we see, after a bit of a recovery there by JC, we see Mchan heading towards Kraid. Going to be opting for the quick kill. The quick kill, named for the fact that it is faster than killing him normally. We can see Mchan going for it, expressing his frustration in the chat when he misses it a little bit. He wants to freeze Kraid's mouth open in a certain position, fire 4 super missiles, and that's going to make quick work of Kraid before he opens the roof.
Yeah, I can't remember if you mentioned this, but a 3-frame window to freeze his mouth. It is very precise trick.
Yeah, so there's definitely no shame in missing it. And he also has a significant lead over Serberoth, but it looks like Serberoth is actually making up that time right now, heading towards Kraid as well.
If Serberoth gets the quick kill, he will be catching up at a very good pace. Oh, don't farm. Just go for it. I could see him thinking about farming there.
Yeah, I saw that. He actually ideally will not be taking any more hits here, especially if he gets the Kraid quick kill.
Oh, and waiting too long to fire those initial missiles.
Yeah, he's got to be really careful. So the thing about Kraid that totally sucks is fighting him the normal way is actually kind of hard. Oh my god, Serberoth, please don't die. He's got to be really careful. You can farm those little claw things that spin around. Oh, Serberoth! Anyways, we can see JC heading towards Kraid. Serberoth dispatching Kraid after some, after a hell of a fight, leaving us all on the edge of our seats.
Oh, and JC slightly early with the missile.
He's able to recover pretty quickly, though. The thing about the quick kill is if you miss it, it doesn't actually cost you that much time. I mean, it's about 8 to 10 seconds if you can recover optimally, but it certainly doesn't kill the run. Serberoth taking a bit of damage in party zone. Meanwhile, looks like Mchan has picked up the high jump boots, named because they make you jump high. And JC actually choosing to dispatch the key hunters in the party zone. Not a bad choice. You can, if you get an optimal wall jump out of there, you can just jump straight out. But if you give the key hunters any sort of leeway, they will ruin your day.
And they have a party while doing it.
Serberoth picking up the high jump boots, and JC hot on his heels. It looks like Mchan has entered the Bubble Mountain. He is expressing his frustrations with this run as well. You want to wall jump off the side of that mountain of bubbles there and not get hit by the cack attack, who we refer to as the final boss. Failing it the first try, not letting that get to him, making his way up. And he will be making his way towards one of my favorite items, the Speed Booster. If you can guess what it does, then congratulations. For those of you who cannot guess what it does, it boosts your speed. It does a few other things. Mike, do you want to talk about what the Speed Booster does, actually?
So while you're in Speed Booster, so we'll see Mchan collecting Speed Booster here, and then he will give a slight demonstration. So he will turn blue, and after turning blue, he is invincible, and he does a huge amount of damage to any enemy he touches. There are some glitches that go along with being blue, and there's a blue suit. We'll explain all those later in the run, but all you really need to know for now is when you're blue, you're going fast.
Going fast, the name of the game in a speedrun. It looks like JC firing a super missile into that waiver for good luck. It's a good thing he has missiles to open that door towards Speed Booster there. Meanwhile, Mchan heading towards the wave beam. This is going to allow him to shoot the beam through walls.
So this is very useful for numerous reasons. Wave beam allows him to perform a power bomb charge beam attack called X Factor. He will likely be using this against Fantoon.
Yeah, the X Factor. Sorry, okay, go ahead.
And in addition, the wave beam also allows him to perform something known as a wraparound shot, which we may be seeing coming up shortly.
Yes, the wraparound shot. We're going to see that hopefully when he fights Crocmire or shortly afterwards. Sometimes referred to as the reach around shot, as you can reach around to the other side of the room and open the door. I think that's why it's called that.
I think you've been misled, Chris, but we'll go with that.
I mean, it's only what I've heard. I can't really wrap my head around why it would be called the wraparound shot.
Maybe that's why it's called the wraparound shot.
I think I've heard that before. Mchan entering Crocmire. Crocmire, incredibly frustrating as a boss. He'll open his mouth and he sometimes will swipe at you, sometimes he won't. If he swipes at you, it takes longer. That sucks because we want to go fast. You'll see the thing that Mchan's trying to do is he's trying to fire the shot before Crocmire completely opens his mouth. This actually cancels the animation that Crocmire is performing, which immediately causes him to close his mouth and saves a few frames. Here's where you might see the wraparound shot. Yes, it looks like he should have got it. So that'll open the door on the other side of the room. Do you actually know how that works, Mike?
So what happens is when you're firing a diagonal shot, for the shot to actually disappear when it goes off screen, it has to be fully off screen. So with that said, part of the diagonal shot will actually wrap around in its variable, which is a programming term. So it means that variables can only go up to a certain number, and after it counts past that number, it actually wraps around to the other side.
Interesting. Very interesting. I would like to point out two things. Mchan going for the spark. And secondly, JC is going for new route. He has skipped Crocmire. He will be grabbing Ice Beam. He's doing the harder route. Serberoth doing the same thing. Skipping Crocmire. Meanwhile, Mchan picking up the power bombs, named because of the fact they are powerful bombs.
So apparently, this is known as the Billy Mays route.
I think we're in for a treat here. I can't say I've ever seen the Billy Mays route, but I'm pretty stoked. Do you think he's going to head down and fight Crocmire? I mean, anything could happen.
He's definitely going to Kojak a few supers into the ground there.
Yeah, firing two super missiles into the ground for good luck.
Looks like serberoth also opting for new route.
So it looks like all three of our runners are doing a different route. So this is going to be pretty challenging to tell who's actually ahead. Like we were saying earlier, new route definitely a little more challenging. Definitely more reliant on a few pretty tough tricks that we'll get to when we get to them, and we'll talk about why they're difficult. I recently discovered that the room that Mchan is in referred to as the cosine room, which makes sense because it looks like a sine wave. Or cosine wave, I should say. I'll anger all the math nerds in the chat by saying that they're the same, but I would anger myself, so I'm not going to do that.
I was about to say, like, in that situation, don't they appear the same, though?
Ah, very true. We got one or two math nerds in the Super Metroid community who will immediately correct us on that. Serberoth heading towards the powerful bombs. Opting for some damage boosts there. Unfortunately, not able to turn in time. But he did not get Vile Plumed once. That's very good.
Mchan also opting to collect Ice Beam.
I gotta be honest, Mike. I have no idea what's going on with this routing. This is very exciting. All three runners doing a different route. I think Serberoth is the only one who I could tell you what he's probably going to do throughout this run. And even then, it's a crapshoot. JC making his way out of the cosign room. So typically, we'll see runners, they'll grab Ice Beam later on. They'll skip it entirely until their second trip to Norfair, if they are doing the older route of this category. Mostly because you don't really need it, for the most part.
Well, it actually mostly slows you down if you collect it.
That's true, it actually does, because enemies will take 2 shots, because you have to freeze them, then kill them. Serberoth going for a spark across the moat. He's got to be really careful about his health going into Fantoon, because he only has these 2 energy tanks. And Fantoon, I mean, I think you might be familiar with going into Fantoon with low energy, Mike.
Yeah, it's quite dangerous, and like you can farm his flames, but you're probably not going to make it through. And oh no! Oh, okay, yeah, no,
Serberoth,
he should be de-equipping high jump boots right now.
He hasn't saved either. This is Serberoth. Oh, I don't know what to say about this. I'm scared.
Sometimes you go all or nothing in a race. That's all I can say.
Oh
Yeah.
My goodness.
This is exactly what happened to me. I died out right there. Oh no.
So Serberoth. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is going to be exciting, but also absolutely just, I'm terrified for his sake. Meanwhile, Mchan certainly has he's got a lot of health. He'll be probably okay going into Wreck Ship. Same with JC. They both have 4 energy tanks. They should be okay. $34 energy is not a lot. Choosing to farm the ghost there, that's probably wise. Okay, I don't know where JC's going, straight up. Grabbing the tube missiles, perhaps making his way up Retro Brinstar, doing some cleanup there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Skipping the pipe missiles, he's probably going to be coming back. Or I should hope he is, because they are required for 100%, as is every other item.
I think he's going specifically for Billy Mays missiles.
Ah, that makes sense. It is the Billy Mays route, so... Serberoth, playing it safe, playing it slow, however. He's going to be farming the atomics, trapped in their little glass cages there. And he should be entering this Fantoon fight with more energy than he was originally. Firing another super missile at the door for good luck. Phantoon, one of the most irritating bosses in Super Metroid. Probably the most irritating, I should say. Most RNG dependent. Has been known to destroy any percent runs. There's about 22 seconds of RNG in this fight. Do you want to talk a bit about the techniques that you can use to fight Phantoon?
So serberoth here is using an older strat, which is just firing missiles at him. It's basically the intended strategy. He'll be doing a bit of Doppler here. That is where you move forward, and it actually locks Phantoon's eyes open, sort of like how Kraid's mouth gets locked open, but instead of hitting on a specific frame, you have to hit him at a certain speed. Now, the more traditional method, which we'll probably see Mchan using here, is X Factor. So when you charge a beam and it's only a single beam equipped, and you have power bombs on, you will perform a special beam attack, and with wave beam, it's known as an X Factor, and we'll see what that entails. Or actually, Mchan has Spazer equipped still. He will just be going for a 4-round then.
Yeah, 4-round definitely a lot safer. Oh my goodness, Serberoth, what are you doing? No! Ah, no! Tragic. Very unfortunate from Serberoth. Dying to Phantoon. My heart. Ah, Serberoth.
I don't know what JC is doing, but I like it.
So Serberoth is going to have to start from criteria again. Very unfortunate. Mchan dispatching Phantoon.
I believe he's giving a shout out to Wild Anaconda with his 69 health. I could be mistaken though.
Probably intentional. Firing a missile. Oh, it was 69 missiles. Definitely a shout out until it wasn't. JC stopping at the ship. His route is very interesting. Likely heading towards wrecked ship at this point. Actually, just kidding. He's probably heading towards the gauntlet and picking up those missiles. And Mchan is likely going to be heading towards the spiky room of death very shortly. Named, well, as you might surmise, for the spikes and the death. Each of the spikes, or the spiky platforms in the spiky room, if they drop on you, will deal 100 damage, which sucks.
Now, Chris, I believe you have a bit of experience with how deadly the spiky room of death can be.
Yeah, no runner is above dying in the spiky death room. I would almost advise, if you're in a race, maybe you should save before going to the spiky death room. But Mchan has no fear. He has 2 energy tanks. Hopefully that's okay. The problem with the spiky death room is there's water everywhere, which slows your movement, and those spikes, when they drop on you, they pretty much instantaneously kill you. So Well done, Mchan. Good job making it through there. So barring a disaster, the winner between Mchan and serberoth should likely be Mchan. He's just so far, he's got a 30-minute lead at this point. It's very unfortunate for serberoth, but like I said, no runner is above dying in the tournament.
Well, wasn't there a race where even Zoski himself died?
I believe there was. The winner of that race, Steel and Bread, taking down the 100% world record holder. Anything could happen. There was also a race, I believe, between Ponk and I can't quite remember who, but Ponk, both runners died at Mother Brand 3. I believe that one went down in our Hall of Fame as slowest victory with a victory time of 3 hours and 12 minutes. JC going for the more traditional strategy of X-factoring Fantoon. Ooh, very unfortunate. One of the particles clipping Fantoon, but not able to get all four of them to connect.
That can really slow you down because you're unable to shoot anything except for the grapple beam while the particles are floating around.
That being said, he has a pretty sizable lead over his opponent, who happens to be Samus flying away from Kraid on a jet ski.
A sizable lead indeed.
So Mchan is approaching probably one of my favorite rooms in the entire game, the bowling room. There's a couple different strats for this room, which, I mean, you can spark across here. You can do what he's doing right now and just jump straight across. Alternatively, there's a strategy called the TAS bowling strat, named because it's hard unless you are a TAS. But he would have been able to shoot through the ground there, hit the work robots, make them walk across the ground a little bit and blow up some blocks before making his way down there. And we'll see those work robots giving him grief as he enters the bottom half of the room. This room, also a fantastic opportunity to check your social media as the Torizo just grabs you and walks you forward, gives you a 30 to 40 second break, excuse me. Personally, I prefer to check my Twitch mobile app, look at my private messages.
I tend to check Reddit, just make sure that the world isn't blowing up, you know, things like that.
I tend to check Reddit every item fanfare. 6 minutes, 6 seconds, usually enough time to open Reddit and then immediately close it.
Actually, the optimal strategy for using Reddit.
Open it up and immediately close it? Yes, I agree. So Mchan picking up the swimsuit. This will allow him to wade through water and lava with ease. Ooh, and a nice Kago from JC.
Oh, and a goop spark.
Yeah, he was probably going for the. He was probably attempting to shine spark across the attic, destroying all the enemies in his path. One of the fastest ways to get through there, but unfortunately, sparking straight upwards instead. And you'll see him attempting to clip through these work robots here. If they're traveling towards you, you can actually, and you are taking, if Samus is in iframes, which you can get by jumping into those sparks, you will actually be able to clip through them if you spin jump through them, I believe. But they can be pretty finicky.
I don't think you actually have to be spin jumping. I think it's more dependent on their forward movement.
Yeah, I never know with them. I never get it consistently. And we can see Mchan having just gone for the, what do we call that again? The wraparound shot? The reach around shot? Oh, it's one of the two. He opened the criteria door from the other side of the room and then went for the longest shine spark in the game into the gauntlet. Yeah, and you can see Mchan setting up there for a little bit. He doesn't want to fall through either side there. He wants to fall down the middle there. Otherwise, those crumble blocks will regenerate, and he will have to make his way through the gauntlet yet again.
That is one of the most run-ending mistakes you can make.
Yeah, a minute time loss is, I think it's actually more than a minute. I mean, you can get it on your way through criteria again at the end of the game, but it's still a significant time loss and also incredibly frustrating. Serberoth going for the grade quick kill, maybe, thinking about it.
Oh, and he's so close. That missile was maybe a frame late.
I will say this about Serberoth, and I've said it every time I've seen a race. I'm always super impressed with him going for the more advanced strategies every time he runs the game. Whether he gets them with consistency, he's always going for them and always trying to grind down that time just a little bit by going for the crazy hard strats every time. Mchan making his way through the damage boost tutorial room, named because you can just jump straight up through those spikes over and over again and damage boost your way across there. He's going to make his way into the Eticoon's room, and he's going to show them how to wall jump. I have a question for you, Mike.
Shoot.
How many times have you fallen in the Decora pit that is upcoming that Mchan just totally skipped?
Once, and it was actually very recently.
Very unfortunate. I think I've had it happen to me a couple times. Always very demoralizing.
Yeah, it was actually one of my tournament races. I fell down there, and I tried to make it look like I did it on purpose by letting the Decora out, but yeah, I don't think that worked.
A good effort, at the very least. You always got to play it off like that's what you meant to do. And to be fair, when there's hundreds of people watching you play a video game, there's a bit of pressure, you know?
A little bit.
Mchan entering the Spore Spawn Super Missiles room, choosing not to fight Spore Spawn because it's much faster. Also, kind of challenging to get that skip. It seems like he's just shooting the block from the other side, but there's a little bit more to it than that. He actually has to. Actually, do you want to talk about the that skip a little bit, Mike? You're more knowledgeable about it than I am.
So basically, the screen has to be scrolled just right, and what will happen is most blocks in Super Metroid only load when they're a few blocks off the screen. So to get that super missile block to load so you can shoot it actually takes a bit of finesse, and the screen has to be scrolled just right. So you actually have to be standing in a very specific spot.
Yeah, I've seen a few different setups work for that. And it looks like we're back. My microphone died for a minute there, it seems. I hope it's working now. Anyways, we can see JC heading towards the X-ray scope. Meanwhile, Mchan in the Meridia Beach, picking up the beach missiles, and serberoth heading up the Norfair elevator towards Brinstar again.
Exciting times in Super Metroid speedrunning.
Indeed. So while you were away, Mike, my microphone died, so we had about 5 minutes of dead air there. That was pretty cool.
Technical difficulties, they happen.
Looks like serberoth going for new route again. I mean, he's got to be careful, more careful this time. I would like to not see another death. I would be pretty heartbroken about that. The room that Mchan is in right now, I want to talk about it for 2 seconds. I hate that room. One of my least favorite rooms. There's really no good way to get through it. There's actually a really good tutorial on 100% by Wild Anaconda and I think Sweetnum. And I believe in the tutorial they say, just get through it. So, yeah, it sucks. There's no good way to get through it. Mchan gonna be making his way towards Botswoon. Typically, the optimal strat for this boss is charging an X Factor as you enter. Not as you enter, excuse me. As when he emerges, and then having all 4 X Factor particles hit him, and then firing 6 super missiles into his face, killing him in 1 round. Unfortunately, Mchan is being kind of trolled by Botswoon here. Botswoon is also one of these RNG bosses. It's pretty tough.
And he also has the worst hitbox in the game.
Yes, incredibly irritating. JC stopping in the Mama Turtle room, picking up her energy tank. Saying hello. The only animal worth saving, I believe.
And yet she's unsavable.
Yes, such is the tragedy of Super Metroid.
Like, I wonder what would happen if you could use major glitches to get into the Mama Turtle room during escape. Like, could you blast a hole in the wall with Hyper Beam? Could you try?
I would try. I would try every run if I could. JC making his way towards Meridia Beach. Going for the beach boost there. Nicely done.
I'm more of a proponent of the beach ball, but that's just me.
I like the beach ball in name only. I think the beach boost is actually faster. Mchan attempting to fry Dragon with the grappling beam. I didn't know that you could do this as a kid.
Yeah, I remember the number of times we just struggled with this boss.
Yeah, I think it actually took a couple months to eliminate Dragon. This is a hard boss. Still is. Mchan showing us how it's done, though, and making some fried shrimp for himself. I still don't like Serberoth's health going into the wrecked ship. He's got to be real careful. I think we'll probably see an X Factor opener from JC as he enters Bot's Moon. Mchan has downed Dr. Dragon.
Serberoth opting to farm a little bit.
Opting not to open the door because he can't, because he has no super missiles.
Oh, the super drop rate in this area is very low.
I think he's going to be at this for a while.
That ghost does not like to drop these super missiles.
Heading towards the save station to no avail. There's not going to be any super missiles there. This is very unfortunate. I think he might have to run back to the ship. All right, JC entering Dragon. Mchan entering the pants room, named because it looks like a pair of pants on the map. He is going to be entering Shaktul. He has about a minute of waiting. This will give him a great opportunity to go to MySpace, check out some of his favorite indie artists, possibly even check his Tinder. It's typically what I do in this room.
You could even check your Zorpia, depending on what decade you're from.
I mean, you could, but it looks like he is through the Shack Tool room, heading towards Spling Ball. Meanwhile, JC, space jumping across the Coliseum. Optimally, you want to get a blue suit after killing Dragon, but it can be pretty tough. You have to kill Dragon in using Shine Sparks, which sucks. So Mchan, in this route, he actually this room is pretty easy. In your route, which we'll see from serberoth, that room is pretty challenging. You have to clip through the floor there as you don't have grapple beam. Man, serberoth just having horrendous luck here. Goob sparking into the ceiling. Meanwhile, JC making his way through the pants room as Mchan has picked up the plasma beam, the most powerful beam in the game, barring hyper beam and glitchy weird beams that we don't see in the no major glitches route. JC taking the opportunity to check his Tinder, a wise choice. And Mchan making his way towards Kakatak Alley. I discovered the other day that there is a door transition here, the one that Mchan just went through, that a lot of runners jump through the top of that door, and it's actually optimal to just walk through or run through the door there. I didn't know that because Mike, can you talk about door transitions for like 2 seconds?
So if you pay very close attention to the door transitions, what happens is if the camera is lined up with the door in the center, like the center and top to bottom, it will actually transition more smoothly because the camera doesn't have to realign during the transition. So it saves you a few seconds actually.
Yeah, one of those areas that runners don't pay a lot of attention to. Correcting door transitions is, but it does add up over the run, and it's pretty unassuming in certain rooms.
Oh, serberoth, don't do this to me.
14 health. Oh my goodness, serberoth. I'm on the edge of my seat here, hoping serberoth can make it through this Fantoon fight.
Meanwhile, our other two runners are still cleaning up Meridia, one of the longest and most arduous portions of the game.
I may even describe it as the most arduous portion of the game. It's very technical. Serberoth dispatching Fan 2, nicely done. Keeping us all on the edge of our seats. One of the most butt-clenching fights I have seen this entire tournament.
Serberoth probably actually very thankful for the health bomb there. His ammo isn't doing too bad, but his health needed a little work.
It really did, especially entering the spiky room of something or other. Mchan heading back towards Kraid's lair to pick up Kraid's missiles, and JC is going to be making his way across Kakatak Alley. Pretty nice Kakatak Alley from JC. That room's always a little bit awkward to make your way through based on the positioning of the Kakataks, but he's able to make it look easy. I want to see Serberoth save here. I'm scared. I want to see him save before Spiky Room. Otherwise, he might have some trouble.
I don't know if he's saving. Oh, he is.
Yep, he's definitely saving. Mchan opts for the Shine Spark across the Crumble Shaft. Not a bad move. It's consistent. It'll get you the missiles every time. A little bit slower than space jumping across, but you're going to hit them every time. And otherwise, you might fall through the Crumble Shaft, which totally sucks. We can see just why the Spiky Room of Death is named as such, as Serberoth makes his way through with 7 energy. Holy crap.
Now, what happened to Serberoth there is exactly what will take so many runners down.
I don't know where he's going.
I think he's just farming a little.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know that there was enemies there because I have not been in that room for a significant amount of time. That room skipped in any percent and 100% as there are faster ways into Meridia.
Isn't that the Forgotten Highway?
I believe it is. Mchan entering the lavatory. He's going to flush the acid out of that room by jumping into the Chozo's arms. Serberoth getting destroyed by the Skullterra. Very unfortunate. However, he did save. So, this should only cost him a minute or so. And Mchan grabbing the Golden Chorizo missiles. You can see the strat that Mchan's going for. Kind of makes Golden Chorizo a joke. If you stand next to him and crouch as he's doing, fire straight upwards, every shot's going to hit him twice, which cuts the fight time in half. Also, he can't hit you when you're doing this. Serberoth needs to be careful here too. I keep forgetting he's doing new route. He's just going to disable high jump, which makes this room so much easier in new route, as you can just jump straight across, as we see him doing there. Otherwise, typically you need to do some fancy bomb jumps to make your way across there. Pretty tough.
You can YOLO jump that with high jump on, but it is very tight.
Yeah, I believe this is actually a recent discovery. You can YOLO jump if you let the platform drop a little bit and then run across it to gain some momentum. However, like you said, it's pretty tough. I would actually say incredibly tough. We see JC entering Spring Ball as he enters the Golden Chorizo room. This is a wise choice, because if you just hold A in Spring Ball form, you will just jump straight across there without falling through those crumble blocks.
That's the difference between Spring Ball and just a regular jump, is that if you hold A, you will just continually Spring Ball jump, whereas it does not work that way for normal jumps.
So we can see Mchan picking up the power bombs with shame. They are required for 100%, so they're not that shameful. But they are shameful in any percent, as if you enter this room without power bombs, you're going to have to pick those up. Typically some runners will do that, and it sucks.
Mchan making quick work of the Ninja Pirates.
Mchan also dropping a powerbomb at the start of the Ridley fight. This actually does damage him just a little bit more. And then opting for, I believe it's 20 plasma shots from here on out.
I don't count from the beginning of the fight. Once he turns red, it's 9 plasma shots.
And that is the end of Ridley. Hold on, Mike. Is that the Metroid's tank right there?
I believe so.
Where could it have gone?
I don't know. I think we need to investigate further.
Might pop up later, who knows? Anyways, JC entering Ridley.
Although they aren't racing, there's a little bit of a high five between Mchan and JC right there.
Always good to see. Looks like it's time for Serberoth to check his tender as he enters the bowling room and gets grabbed by the Chozo statue. So interesting to note, even though JC and Mchan are not racing, JC would possibly be ahead as he does have X-ray scope already. Serberoth making his way towards gravity. JC going for that wasteland speedball, trying to burst those blocks there, but unfortunately not getting the short charge. There's no shame in that. That speedball is incredibly challenging to get, as are most of the lower Norfair speed strats.
Lower Norfair is the latest section in the naturally designed game, so it's going to be the most challenging. So the level design here is not optimal for speed. It is optimal for screwing you over.
Perhaps that's why they give you the screw attack.
It's a very good point.
Mchan picking up the Franker Z missiles. Meanwhile, Serberoth going for a ship trip, and then he'll be grabbing the Great Sierra power bombs and going for the wraparound shot.
Of course, Serberoth still has wave or phaser beam equipped, so it will be quite a bit easier for him to hit that shot.
Yeah, typically that shot is pixel perfect with just wave and charge, but with Spazer included, it does make it significantly easier. There's much more leniency involved. Shine sparking into the ceiling to send these, I don't know the name of these enemies. I think they're called dragons. But sending them a message.
Very similar message to when you shoot a random super missile into the ceiling.
So I'm not even sure what JC has left to do. I think he has Green Britain Star to clean up, and because he already did Retro Britain Star, right? So I don't know who's ahead between JC and Mchan. Mchan will still need to pick up X-Ray and clean up Retro Britain Star. It's a good thing that the race is not between Mchan and JC because I have no idea who would be winning. Unfortunately for Serberoth, however, Mchan has a significant lead over him because of his death earlier on in the run. I gotta say, it's been an absolute delight to see such a variety of routes from different runners throughout this tournament.
Yeah, here I've been running Super Metroid for almost a year now, and I only thought there were 2 routes.
For 100% anyways. We've seen the duck route, we've seen the Banco variation in the old 100. What are you doing, serberoth? Oh my goodness. Setting up the shot there and choosing to fall down the right side. He's going to have to go back for those gauntlet missiles. So we can see Mchan picking up the X-ray scope. Very useful as it allows you to see through walls and see hidden items. However, if you're running 100%, you should probably know where most of those are, so Mchan probably not going to be getting a lot of use out of it.
I think if you're running 100%, you want to know where all the items are.
Typically, it's something you want to know beforehand, yes. This is interesting. From JC heading up through Meridia on his way to Criteria. We see this in any percent a lot, but not so much in 100%. However, this route is starting to make a bit more sense now, as I didn't realize that he hadn't picked up this powerbomb pack yet. Mchan doing his retro Brinstar cleanup. Meanwhile, serberoth hanging out with the Atacoons, learning how to wall jump.
Mchan picking up the final energy tank of the run.
JC still has to do Gauntlet, right?
I believe so, yes.
Excellent. And we can see Mchan grabbing the Billy Mays missiles. Named as... There appears to be only one missile pack in this room. But wait, there's more. Also, the name of the route that JC is doing, the Billy Mays route, as he picked up those missiles beforehand. We can see Mchan actually charging a Shine Spark in that room in Retro Brinstar. He's going to be carrying that up the elevator and trying to spark across the Old Mother Brain room, which is the fastest way to get across that room in 100%. Sparking into the ceiling, expressing his frustration a little bit in his chat. And JC is going to be entering the Golden 4 room, named for the 4 golden statues. This room, I believe, is the longest wait in the entire game in 100%. I'm a fan of this room because, you guessed it, I enjoy checking my Tinder here.
And not only do you have to wait for each of their gems to pop out, you have to wait for the statue to submerge, the blocks to crumble. Man, it is a long wait.
Practically an eternity. Mchan picking up the last missiles because... named because, excuse me, they are the last missiles you pick up. Let's see what kind of Turian that JC can have. Turian is probably one of the most skill testing sections of the game, I think. There's a few different fast ways to get through here, but they're all just so challenging. You have to wait for those Metroids, and you have to, you know, kill them on your way through. It just kind of sucks. Mchan has entered the Golden 4, the waiting room. So JC actually got nabbed by the Metroids there. If that happens, you can drop 3 power bombs and it'll kill them. It sucks. It's kind of slow, but it gets the job done.
Do you believe, do you think JC's going to be going for Metroid skip?
I mean, there's no reason not to, and we did see him practicing it earlier before the race. Hopefully he can get it. Metroid skip, you can probably explain it better than I can, like...
Basically, you use your movement to swing the Metroid around so it doesn't actually grab you. Like we see JC doing here.
Nicely done from JC. Skipping the cutscene where the Metroid drains you to 1 health. Saves himself a trip to the refill station. I would consider Metroid skip one of the most challenging tricks in the entire game, to be honest.
I think it's one of the most rewarding tricks, though, because it is such a high skill that once you get it, you feel just great about getting it.
Definitely. The first time a person gets a Metroid skip, it's definitely a big milestone for a speedrun. We can also see JC disabling Varia and Screw Attack. This allows him to get the Zebetite skip a little bit easier. I think he's dropping his missile count down to 144. I wonder what that could mean.
I've seen a few runners do this. I don't know the correlation, though.
It's very interesting. I guess we'll have to find out.
Now, as we see Mchan dealing with the Metroid cutscene, JC is working his way through Mother Brain 2, and he's getting down to a very specific health point so that he can perform what is known as the stand-up glitch. So, we see JC still standing, where anyone who has played Super Metroid knows that at this point in the game, you're actually supposed to be locked to the ground in a crouch. We see Mchan getting the Zepatite skip and going to work on Mother Brain 1. While Serberoth makes his way through Meridia. And we see JC with a very successful stand-up glitch, just pumping those plasma shots into Mother Brain's head.
Looks like the end of Mother Brain from JC. Well, of that phase of the fight, I should say. As he grabs the Hyper Beam and dispatches Mother Brain with ease.
Hyper Beam. Interesting fact, the only item you obtain without a fanfare.
I'm not sure if Mchan actually got the stand-up glitch there. I don't know if his health was, Yeah, oh no, he's okay. You don't want to be going into the stand-up glitch with too much health, otherwise Mother Brain will not trigger that part of the fight, and she will just kill you with another rainbow beam, so that sucks. But it looks like Mchan having no trouble with it, while JC makes his way through the escape sequence. Do you think he's going to save the animals?
I sure hope not.
That would be very unfortunate, capping off a good run with a tragic ending of saving the animals. We don't want to see that today. JC making the correct choice, killing the animals, saving the frames. He's gonna finish with a 134.09 on his splits. What does it say in SRL, Mike? Because I don't have SRL open. The IRC, rather.
His official SRL time is 1:34:14.
Not a bad time at all. Mchan triggering the escape sequence. I hope he doesn't save the animals. I don't think he will. I think he knows better. So now all that's left for JC is to wait for confirmation that he got 100%. That being said, if he missed an item, all he has to do is go back and run the game again, because he doesn't have an opponent. Serberoth making his way through the Coliseum. Mchan making the correct choice, not saving the animals. We've seen a couple runners save the animals. It is slower, and it also is just a very tragic thing to do, so good choice, Mchan. Serberoth's going to have to use the Shine Spark method to kill Dragon here, because he does not have Grapple Beam, which makes the fight significantly harder.
And we see Mchan finishing with actually a PB time of 1:36.12 on SRL.
That is awesome to see. Get your deer forces ready as we see the completion percent from JC. Hopefully 100%. There it is. 100% from JC. Very nicely done. Serberoth having a little trouble with Dragon. This fight, yeah, it sucks. There's no way around it. You just gotta execute it properly. You gotta avoid the goop. You gotta shoot her with missiles. If you don't have grapple beam, there's no easy way to do it. Here it comes from Mchan. The big reveal. The Deer Force. The hopefully 100%.
The oh my god, Samus is a girl.
I had no idea. There it is, 100% from Mchan. He is thrilled about that. Awesome, nicely done. So a very unfortunate ending from Serberoth here, as he did die to Fantoon. Let's talk for a bit about what's coming down the pipeline on the Speed Gaming channel in the next couple days. More Super Metroid action coming up tomorrow at 2 p.m. EST between CFB and Fusda. 11 a.m. on December 18th between Jigheart and Personitis. December 20th, 6 p.m. we have the world record holder Zosti versus Kanzion, and finally December 23rd, Enmet versus me. So stick around for more Super Metroid action over the next couple days. So, I would also like to remind everybody, please follow the runners, Mchan338, serberoth, and jaysee87. That being said, it looks like we are a little pressed for time with our restream. So we are going to have to cut this a little bit short for serberoth. That being said, congratulations to our winners. A very good run. Very exciting. Really exciting routes. serberoth showing off, always going for those crazy strats. That being said, that's going to do it for me for now, as we do have to cut the stream in about 3 minutes. So, I'd like to thank you all for joining me and my friend Trigger Michael as we watch these 3 runners play through Super Metroid as quickly as they can. So, thank you very much for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, especially Trigger Mike. This is always a blast to commentate with you.
The same goes to you as well, good sir.
And we will see you guys next mission.